right now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 5.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Brad Means.
I'm Jenny Montgomery. Thank you for joining us. Coverage you can count on begins with a tough look at discipline problems in Aiken County schools and the data that supports the time it's taking away from the classroom. Aiken Bureau Chief Sean Cabbage-Talk is going through the numbers and asking what officials are doing now to make sure the problem doesn't get worse.
Officials in Aiken County schools working to get a handle on discipline after data shows this last school year was on track to be one of the worst. Aiken County Schools wants to improve lost instruction time due to out-of-school suspensions for students. We've learned from officials in the 2018-19 school year, 183,000 hours of instructional time was lost compared to 130,000 in the 2019-20 school year.
We try to get our principals to look at this information and come up with strategies within their building. There's not a cookie-cutter solution sometimes to these things.
According to hearing officer for Aiken County Public Schools, Johnny Spears, those top offenses, tardies, refusing to obey, and cutting class.
And up until the school closures, I really thought that I was going to surpass last year's numbers.
Officials are coming up with a game plan in order to curb the numbers. The school district has created youth development teams. The group, made up of school administrators, counselors, and teachers from every subject area.
Our goals for the individual youth development teams: establish effective practices and protocols for schools to identify, teach, and monitor, and hold students accountable for understanding and managing behaviors.
That, in turn, ensuring timely and consistent intervention and discipline across the entire school district. Spears also shared that counseling and mental health support could be the key when dealing with students with behavioral issues. Programs already started at area elementary schools dealing with social, emotional learning, and mental health, giving students a foundation early so they can continue to develop positively through middle and high school. Look for the story on WJBF.com. I'll share more details on the meeting and also find out what program is in the works to help teachers in the area of classroom management. In Aiken, South Carolina, I'm Aiken Bureau Chief Sean Cabbage-Talk, WJBF News Channel 6.
Well, learning from home could mean missing out on after-school activities. That's the story in Columbia County, where if parents elect for their children to learn remotely, the student has to forego extracurricular options. The superintendent says the student shouldn't really participate in those things if they or somebody in their home is medically fragile.
If a parent makes the decision to keep their child home for one of those reasons, they probably do not need to be participating in one of those other activities. If they can participate in the extracurricular activities at school, they probably should come to school because there's not a lot of difference.
Dr. Caraway says school will be full-time. Before and after programs for elementary schools are going to be offered.
Columbia County school leaders are giving parents until July 1st to decide on in-class or at-home learning for next school year. How will those options affect county's bus system? Devin Johnson shows us.
In less than 6 weeks, kids will be returning to school if they choose to. Columbia County school leaders say the biggest obstacle this school year will be transportation.
Always that first week or two of school, we have a lot of car riders, but now given some of the concerns about school buses and social distancing and seating, we definitely anticipate having more parents bring their child to school.
Like most public schools, Columbia County is working on plans to keep students and staff safe when schools open up in the fall. There are a lot of changes this school year, including the bus system. Assistant Superintendent Penny Jackson says this year will be assigned seats in sibling sections.
So for middle and high school student, in the past, we've separated them, boys on one side, girls on the other, and high school, middle school. But we will probably have what we call a sibling section so that our students can sit with their siblings so that they're around folks that they're familiar with and comfortable with and have been around.
Columbia County will force social distancing on the school bus, just as stores and restaurants do. Buses will be cleaned after every route, and students will be encouraged to wear a face mask.
We will not want them lined up right behind each other. So we will have certainly areas where you don't go past this point before you get on, and then they'll go straight to their seat.
Jackson says if a majority of the kids in the neighborhoods elect to learn from home, the bus will still come to pick up kids to go to school.
I mean, our buses are going to run a route, and if it's picking up in a neighborhood one kid, we're going to pick that child up.
Health experts say sometimes we forget that we're in a pandemic. The assistant superintendent is letting parents know the school district will constantly enforce CDC safety guidelines.
They will reiterate on a daily basis what we need to do, and when we see it getting out of hand, and we have to remind them, we're going to have to do that.
And Jackson says parents will be notified if a bus driver or a student on the bus tested positive for COVID-19, or if they came close in contact with the person who has it. In Evans, I'm Devin Johnson, WJBF News Channel 6.
Payne College announcing a plan to open their campus back up. Students and staff can return August 3rd. All students, of course, will have to follow social distance guidelines. The university's president also starting a task force to keep an eye on the number of any possible cases of the virus and evaluate the needs of staff and students.
Jiffy Lube Sky View camera goes. I'll talk about that and our 10-day forecast in just a bit.
The Augusta Fire Department is investigating an early morning blaze. It happened about 3:30 this morning at Avery Point Apartments. That's on Lafayette Drive off Milledgeville Road. News Channel 6's Ashley Flette has been following the story since early this morning, and she's live tonight. Ashley, 20 people were displaced by this fire.
That's right, Brad. I want you guys to go ahead and take a look behind me at this window where you can see where one family used cushions to make it out of the fire, using the cushions to protect themselves from that scattered glass from that window. We're told that that fire did break out around 3:30 this morning at the Avery Point apartment complex. 20 people are now without a place to call home. People who live in the apartment complex say the fire started on the back side of the building where we are now, and neighbors say a woman might have fell asleep while she was cooking.
I'm kind of glad my mama did teach me and my older brother to fire safety stuff when we were kids, because it sure came in handy.
And that spokesperson for the fire department told me that some of the firefighters did take out one man. He is at the hospital for smoke inhalation. No word on his status yet, and investigators say that it might take a week before they can say what the cause of the fire was. For now, live in Augusta, I'm Ashley Flette, WJBF News Channel 6.
Ashley, thanks so much. Many people visiting the Savannah River have